Pretty excited to show you guys the car with the new cams. She's rowdy, it's cool as shit, and it's quick. Oh, that looked really bad. It's just a bunch of oil that got spilled on the header wrap. It's just gonna burn off, put the bonnet on and go for a drive.
The very next evening.
Alright, try this out. Let's go, no throttle on cold start. That's something I need to take care of. I need to, looks like I need to get its rev a little bit higher. I had the oil pressure light go off then, because the highest idle that I saw then was like 600 RPM on cold start. Doesn't drive that great, bone cold. It needs a little bit more fuel, I think. Definitely bucks around when it's cold. But it does drive alright. It's not too bad, not as bad as I thought it'd be. Get these windows up. I have cruise control set to 92 k's an hour, 1900 RPM, and the car's handling it fine. Which I had a lot of people tell me these cans are too big, drive on the street. While I definitely agree that they're not ideal, you definitely can drive it. I've only done a couple of iterations of this tune. I'll show you what it was like to start with. I'll show you how it is now, and you'll be able to see what the difference is.
So this was the first drive. This is me trying to get back into my driveway when the engine's warm. It just wouldn't idle at all. It was quite frustrating, but we ended up sorting it out. So you can enjoy watching me struggle.
All done. All done. So what I've done here is it managed to start cold fine. So I just pulled out more fuel. When hot, I was still having trouble with the 0.970. So I've taken it down to 0.96. Should be 4% less fuel than it was giving it on warm start. And hopefully we can get a nice warm start without me having to flatten the pedal and use the flood clear option to actually get it to kick over. Smooth the airflow tables out. I had to add a bit of fuel, the wide open throttle tables. A little bit too much fuel down low, not enough up top. It's pretty typical of larger camshaft. I know you guys want to see a pull, so we'll do a quick pull here. Pulls hard up top. It's definitely got a lot of power up top now.
Now you'll almost be able to see it in this clip here. It kind of feels like you hit VTEC at about $4.5 grand. It's a really big kick at about 4.5. So I've just made a few more adjustments to the tune here, and we're about to go for a drive.
Alright guys, we're going to go for a drive. We're going to test out the cold start. I'm going to do a pull, see where the AFRs are at. I've got a dyno booked in for the 20th. It's now the 10th. I've got 10 days to get the tune right. so we can get a good fair comparison between the stock cams and these cams. Let's do this. On the idle, but at least that idles now. Drops to about 600 RPM and then back up, idling at about 900. I'm about to test out the cruise control. Hopefully it works. I've got a feeling, I think it's going to work. I'm about to get up to speed, almost at 100 k's an hour. That's 100 there. Cruise control on. Turn that cruise control on. Got my foot off the pedal, and the cruise control still works, which is actually it's pretty good. I can feel that it's kind of on its limit. I think if I had dialed the cams in any closer together with any more overlap, the ECU might be struggling a little bit more than it is, and we may not be at the point where we can use cruise control, but that's irrelevant because we can. So it's currently working for me and it's driving pretty nice. You know, when I bought these cams, I had a lot of people say they buck like crazy, which they do. I don't want to give anyone any false information. I've dialed mine in on a wide-ish lobe separation, so I don't want to give anybody a false sense of what these cams will feel like to drive. They are pretty ratty at low RPM. There's a lot of like chugging back and forth, lurching. I haven't finalized the tune yet, not even close, but it does run. I have to do a power pull in a second and see how it's going on wide open throttle. Still a little bit rich at cruise, but to be honest, I'm actually pretty happy. I expected this car to be almost undrivable. From what I'd heard with the BA ECUs being really poor, not as bad as I thought. Definitely not as bad as I thought. I'd read a lot of stuff on the forums from a long time ago talking about how impossible it was to get these things to idle, even with the GTPX cams. Yeah, this thing doesn't stall. If I stall it, it's my own fault. Managed to get it to idle pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it idles around 850, something like that. Had to add a little bit of timing down there to get it to sit nice, but yeah, it's working. Cranking start, it wasn't lifting RPM enough to Navid fan there. There's one for the boys. Doesn't stall. The idle's really nice actually, and it sounds tough. You can't really capture it in the video, unfortunately, but it sounds tough now. Every time I drive it, I get thumbs up. Everyone watches me go past. It's quite unusual to see a non-LS car lump along like this. It's lumpy. It sounds like a drag car. It's pretty cool. Doesn't drive like one though, but we'll get there. Hopefully this will be enough to get me close enough to the 11s. I really just need to pick up in the 60 foot. It's definitely got the power to do it. Occasionally the res is still hanging a little bit around at the 1500, around 1500 RPM. Probably means I need to bring a little bit of spark back out at 1500, at the low load 1500. But yeah, we'll see. I'm stoked with this thing. It feels cool. It feels good. It feels really good.
Alright, so we'll do some pulls here. Unfortunately, it's pretty hard to show you guys what the car can do without breaking the speed limit, so you might have to wait till we hit the track to see what it can really do.
Definitely stronger than it was. I started it up from pretty well cold again. It started perfectly, no pedal required. I let it warm up and then I started it again from warm, which is where I was having a lot of trouble earlier. I'd have to like hold the pedal flat, which in these cars clears, it's a flood clear option. And basically, yeah, that was the only way I could start it, was to hold the pedal flat. So pretty much it would cut fuel and it would just ignite the residual fuel in the cylinders and kick it over, at which point I could let my foot off the pedal and kind of pedal it as if it was some sort of like a carby or something like that, trying to start it. So I've managed to get rid of that and sort that out, so I'm pretty happy about that. Pretty keen. As you can hear it now, it's idling perfectly. We're at about 950 RPM at the moment. Happy days, very happy. We're going to cruise home the highway. I'm going to put my cruise control on, and yeah, look at that, 14.7, 14.8 at idle. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I'm pretty happy. I've got most of the flat spots out of it. Coming on, cruise control on. We're about 14 to 1, 13.5 to 1, and you know, which is a little bit on the fat side, but managing to use cruise control without too much bucking. I can feel that it is on the verge of bucking, and if you don't understand what I mean by that, it's kind of like bunny hopping, that feeling of jolting forwards and backwards, like whoop, 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 as the cam's just out of its efficiency range, and the engine's struggling to see enough vacuum. So it's a thing that happens with large cams and a lot of the time manual transmissions. But I was surprised. I didn't think I'd be able to use cruise control in this car anymore, but I can. At 110, it'll be even better. But the speed limit here is 100, so I can't test that out. So you can use cruise control with these cams. I will say, however, I do have these cams set on a fairly wide load separation. 110, 115, basically that's going to give me a little bit less overlap, because I've got plenty of overlap for the standard compression that I have. Didn't need too much, and I did that. Not only need to extend the power band a little bit, but so it was a bit nicer to drive with the factory ECU, and I'm really glad with my choice. Pulls really hard to redline 7600, and as you can see, I'm using cruise control here, so pretty happy. The only caveat to this is that I have 27-inch rear tyre with 411s, which is equivalent to having the standard tyres that GT would come on the back with, which are around, from memory, 26-inch tyre height roughly. I've got the equivalent of a normal GT with 3 9s in the back with these tyres, with the tyre height that I have, if that makes sense. So I do have 411s, but I have a taller tyre, which will then drop my effective ratio down, because the rolling diameter is larger. So what I'm trying to say is that your GT, if you have stock diff gears and your GT wants to idle at 100, wants to do 1700 RPM at 100 k's an hour, say, you might find that you have a little bit more trouble with the bucking that I'm having right now. If you have 411s and a normal size tyre on your car, then it's probably likely that you will have less trouble than I have right now. And I would say I'm on the limit. I'm on the limit of it bucking around. I can feel it every now and then going down hills. actually idling. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We're going to get the car in the dyno next week, so don't miss out on that. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys then. Cheers.
Now everybody can have the chance to laugh at my face here. What is this?